Hey everybody, Cobra here. I just wanted to begin a series that really goes into the Linux gaming journey. This way, anybody that's intrigued or maybe curious about swapping over to Linux for gaming can get a better sense of what to expect and some things to look out for. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit like, leave you a comment, and sub to the channel for more videos. We'll be releasing new videos each Wednesday and Saturday, so make sure you sub to see all the new stuff when it comes out. Today's first episode of the Linux gaming journey, I just wanted to briefly discuss why I swapped over to Linux specifically for gaming. I swapped over about 5 years ago back in 2021, thanks to a nudge from a coworker at the time, but that wasn't my first experience with Linux. My first experience was back in 2013, when my roommate at the time actually ran an old ThinkPad using Ubuntu. I used it sparingly here and there, and he'd let me tinker with it, but at that point, gaming was just non existent on Linux. Fast forward 8 years from there, and my coworker explained to me about Proton, all the work Valve had been doing on Linux gaming. I was already at the point where I was fed up with Microsoft, due to all their data collection, ads, force updates, etc., etc. The list goes on, right? So he convinced me to give it a try. So my first full-time Linux distro was Linux Mint back in 2021. That was also what my coworker was using at the time as well. It was solid, but I always felt like I was wanting something maybe a little bit more. I started looking into other distros, distro hopped around for a long time, but that we can save that story for another day. I used Linux Mint for a few weeks, and at that time, everything that I wanted to play worked. Was running great on Linux. My software was running great. I had no issues, but just felt like I really was wanting something more. It was awesome getting to tinker with, a different OS for the first time, actually having control over my system. Stuff only is installed what I want it to be installed, unless it's some type of dependency or something like that. Not what Microsoft wanted to install on my machine. Within a few months, I fully swapped over all of my devices, and over the past few years, I've also swapped over my daughter's gaming computer and also picked up a Steam Deck as well. I haven't looked back. If you are on the fence about Linux, here is what I recommend for anybody that's still on Microsoft or Mac OS. Spin up a VM. You can try out a few different Linux distros just to see how you like it. A VM just lives in memory, so if you don't like whatever distro you install, just delete it, try a different one. Really take notice of the UI, or in Linux terms, the desktop environment. So that way you can get a feel of the workflow, see what you like aesthetically, kind of out of the box. Although you can, tinker and configure even the desktop environments to how you want. Once you've kind of decided on one to try out, I'd probably dual boot for a little bit if you're still a little bit skeptical. Making sure that all of your equipment works with it, etc., etc. If you don't want to spin up a VM and just go for it, and install Linux distro on a spare drive, or completely wipe your system and go for it. That's up to you too. Some things to just note before swapping. I'd really make sure that all of the games you like to play are running on Linux, or at very least the quote-unquote most important ones. So like if you love playing the new Call of Duty games or something like that, those aren't really going to work on Linux, so I would not recommend you swapping over. However, if you can do without it, then go for it. I would recommend utilizing sites like ProtonDB and Are We Anti-Cheat Yet to see if your games work. I will throw some links down in the description so you can check those out if you'd like. At the time of writing this, there's only a handful of games that really don't run on Linux, primarily the ones with invasive kernel-level anti-cheat, such as any of the Riot Games games, League of Legends, Valorant, etc. The newer Battlefield and COD games like Apex Legends, PUBG, Fortnite, and a handful of others. Like I was saying before, I would recommend looking at sites like ProtonDB and Are We Anti-Cheat Yet to see if the games that you like to play are working. There are a ton of AAA, AA, and indie games that run fantastic on Linux. Sometimes you even get better performance on Linux than you do on Windows. I recommend you give it a try. Let me know down in the comments, what is your favorite game to play currently? This could be on Linux, or if you're still on another OS, a game on that OS. That doesn't matter to me. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.